Welcome back to One Sober to Another. I'm Wayne, and today we're going to talk about you got sober. Now what? They told me because I stopped drinking, my life was going to be miraculously better. I've got bad news for you. Life doesn't get better just because you stop drinking. Buckle up though. I'm going to give you some tools that are going to help you thrive in sobriety and make that pain a little more manageable. Thank you to those who have already subscribed to the channel. If you'd like to be part of the One Sober to Another team, just hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. You finally decided to stop drinking. They told me life was going to get better just because I stopped. Well, here's your wake-up call. It doesn't. Whether you stop drinking voluntarily or involuntarily doesn't make a difference. You stopped. So, what do you do now? Why do you still feel like shit? Why is your mailbox full of overdue notices? Why is your head still filled with voices? Why is your Facebook full of messages that you can't take back? The past is written. It's not going to change just because you want it to. The things you did to people, you can't take back. The things people did to you are already gone. Everything in your past is exactly that. It's history. So what do you do now? The future is a blank page. It's up to you to rewrite it. It's full of optimism, it's full of hope. You can either live in the past or thrive in the future. So how do we do this? Well, you have to make changes. Everything in the past that you did around your substance or around your alcohol revolved around a routine. If you don't change up your routine in the things you're doing, you're always going to come back to the same place. Here are some things that you can do in order to make it a little more comfortable in your transition in sobriety. You have to make the changes, like I said. You have to develop a structured routine, a different routine from what you did before. And you have to stick to that. Be physically active. Get a job if you don't have one. Keep yourself occupied. Stay cool and calm in your head. There's nothing that is going to drive you back to your drink or your drug more than losing your stuff, losing your cool. You can get angry, and anger is going to feed that desire for you to drink. Anger is going to feed that desire for you to use. Fear is going to drive those same tools. If you have a fear of failure, if you have fear of not finishing things, all these emotions are going to come back. So if you stay cool and calm, you can digest your emotions, you can get down to what's really bothering you, and you can solve it at that level, other than losing your shit and going back to the bottle. You have to find balance in your life. If you have a work, if you have kids, and then you have whatever physical activity, if you're doing one, because not everybody does it, you have to be able to balance it, especially your work life and your home life. If you get overwhelmed at work and you come home, you take it out on your kids, or your stress rises to a level where you can't handle it, you're going to go back to the bottle. And that's not 100% for everybody, but in my experience, it's pretty daggone certain that you're going to head back that direction. So find a balance in your life. Use that routine in order to make that balance. Finally, you have to utilize what I call acceptance. Acceptance of things the way they are. Some things you can't change. So what do you do with those? You can either accept them or push against them as much as you want. The more you push, the more stress you're going to create. The more stress you create, the more likely you're going to head back to your substance or the drink, whatever the case is. For example, if at work your boss yells at you, you get overwhelmed, you get in your car and you start mumbling to yourself all the things that you would have said to your boss. Now that becomes a resentment. With that resentment becomes anger. With that anger, drives you back to the one solution you know best. Develop control measures to deal with those things and bring yourself back down to a normal level. Now I'm going to say something that some of you might disagree with, but it's absolutely 100% foolproof to help you think through a situation that you're in or bring down your anger level. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's a bold statement. And for those of you that don't believe in God, or God is a throw-off word, omit it. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Can you change what's going on at the moment? Maybe not. What can you change about it? If it's nothing, then you have to be able to accept the situation as it is. That's knowing the difference. That's the wisdom to know the difference. What I found in my sobriety and what works well and what can work for you is to accept things as they are, live life on life's terms. Because the globe is going to keep spinning, even if your head is out of control. And that stress is going to drive you back to the drink. So which is it that you want? Do you want to learn a new way of life, or do you want to fall back in the past? You go back to the past, likely you're going to drink. If you don't believe me, and you think that you're cured because you have 1 day of sobriety, 90 days of sobriety, 5 years of sobriety, just go back and drink. That sounds reckless, I know. I'm not suggesting that you go to a bar and get drunk. What I'm suggesting is that if you feel that you are able to moderate or you're comfortable and that you can handle life on life's terms, sure, test the waters. Because if you find that you can't and you end up drunk again, God forbid, because that's totally opposite of what this channel is about, then you may have a problem that you can't handle. And these are some tools in order to handle those problems. Acceptance is key. I know sobriety is not easy, and I know that change is not easy. But changes are necessary. People, places, and things are going to be the doom or the better. If the people, places, and things that you are used to when you were drinking are still the things that you associate with today, those are likely going to bring back the feelings of that drink back to you, and you're going to end up drunk again. So you have to change up people, places, things. Take everything 1 day at a time, 24 hours at a time. You can do anything for 24 hours. You can stay sober for 24 hours. You can stop binge eating for 24 hours. Go the 24 hours and then go 24 more. I've been sober for 4 years plus, and that's exactly what I do every single day. I wake up, I thank God for my family, I thank God for my health, my family's health, and I ask for another day of sobriety. Today I will not drink. Sounds cliche, but absolutely works. Don't look back and grieve over the past. It's done with. If you stay stuck like we started in the beginning, then that's where you're always going to end up. Do not be troubled about the future. It's not here yet. Live in the present. If you're so worried about things that are going to happen tomorrow or things that are going to happen a year from now, you're going to stress over those and you're going to strive to make them happen before they even come about. Have you met somebody that said, what if, what if, what if? They're pretty much spinning around in their own heads and they can't solve a what if. They can build contingencies, and those contingencies could be for 24 hours I'm not going to drink, or 24 hours I'm not going to use. Live in the present, live in the here and now, and stay focused on what's exactly in front of you. Can you change anything that's happening? No. I mean, if you can, then go ahead and change it. Change the things you can. And if you find yourself in an imbalance, pause and drive on. Don't sweat the small stuff. That's a lot of cliches. Well, I guess some of the cliches are actually true. Anyway, so you're sober, you're hurting, you have emotions, there's still fear running around, and there's still things you can't change, things you wish you could. 24 hours is all you have to do. Stay sober for 24 more hours and get through the next. If you can't, call somebody. And if you haven't followed me on Instagram, my link is right above. I'm here for you, and I'm here every single day. I'm putting out videos every week, and you may or may not like them completely. However, if you listen to them, I'm sure there's something in there that you're going to be able to pick from. Sobriety's hard. But I will say, being drunk for me was much harder. I didn't know where I was most of the time. I didn't have a life. I didn't have a house. I didn't have anything except my drink. Well, that didn't work anymore, so I decided to get sober. I'm one sober to another, and I hope you guys have a very safe weekend, a healthy weekend. Sober on. Life's a garden. Dig it. I'll see you in the next one.